Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXD Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. I saw some explosive performances at the London Diamond League, and I'm going to discuss a further tool that I experienced and I absolutely loved it. And as I said, these performances this late or this close to the Paris Olympic Games are setting us up nicely. It's painting a pretty little picture for what potentially could go down at the Paris Olympic Games. Guys, we don't know say Paris at Paris, and that's ultimate pressure is the Olympic Games, so the athletes will have to go there and perform. But all things remaining equal, given the fact that we're seeing these athletes, run this well, the expectation is that they'll be able to live up to expectation once they get to the Paris Olympic Games. That said, the women's 200 meters. Oh my gosh, what an absolute race I just watched. Now let's get into things. Walking away with the win was Gabrielle Thomas, and she ran a 21.82 seconds, a meeting record, right? So records were falling left, right, and center at this particular games. Now our meeting, right? And we also had Julian Alfred there. She ran a national record as well and a personal best, 21.86 seconds. Dina Asher Smith was third. She ran a season's best, 22.07 seconds. And Daryl Nita was fourth with her 22.20 seconds, with Rashida Adedeke there as well with a 22.35. So she's trying to, work on that 200-meter speed as much as she can, because she said, well, go down in that 400-meter there. So when she lands up there in Paris, she wants to make sure that her strength is just as good as her speed. Right now, her speed needs working on, and that's what she's pretty much doing. She's strong, so she's like, all right, let's get this speed going. So she's definitely working on that, and we see here running a season's best 22.35. Let's see what got more when Rashida, turn up with against a Nikisha Price in that 400 meters at Paris, but that's a whole other story. Let's get back to this 200 meters. So as I said, Gabriel won. Interestingly, I was having a conversation last evening about potentially who takes this race. I did say Gabriel will win, and I did say she will run a 21.8 performance. I was saying 8 high, and if anybody runs faster than that, then potentially they would beat her. But I definitely see Gabrielle Thomas winning. Interestingly, she won this race running at 21.8 low. What I forgot though when I was having this conversation is that London is actually just as fast as Eugene. So, with that being said, she ran a 21.82 to take the win. Absolutely phenomenal performance coming from behind. Look here, Gabby has to work on that start. I don't know what to say other than to tell her, I said, look here, you have to go brush up on the start there, because what you did there, me think you did done and dusted for you. Me never know so you could have possibly come back from after when me just see. She was well behind a Dina Asher Smith and also a Julian Alfred coming off the bend. I was like, girl, Gabby, how are you there? You're not in the way. But she clawed tooth and nail and she showed her strength. Remember, she has that superior 400-meter personal best and strength, and she clawed her way to that win. And I was like, wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is what we want to see. Even when you don't get the best of start, even when you look and you see your competitors ahead of you, your rivals ahead of you, you never give up in the race. You keep pushing. And she clawed herself to that victory. And I have to give her props. Absolutely fantastic run. Though I will say that going forward, Gabby, a good years now, a whole heap of years now. We need a start if you start. That start is still not start after all these years. Something need to change. I don't know what we need to change, but something need to change to make sure so you start a start, right? In second place, as I said, was Julian Alfred, and she ran a new national record and personal best. She had a pretty evenly balanced race. Great bend and also great finish, right? Her bend though wasn't as good as Adina Asher Smith, which was kind of interesting when I saw. And then, following that on, her final 50 was much stronger than Adina. She pretty much pulled away from Adina, was going toe to toe until Gabriel passed her out on the line literally to take the win. Practically, Julian Alfred is definitely showing that she's also built for this. She's come on leaps and bounds in recent years. Definitely seeing her performances getting better and better every time she, gets closer to a championships as well. And this year is the best we've ever seen her. We saw her with that 100-meter personal best, 10.78, new personal best again, for the 200 meters, 21.86, heading into the Olympic Games. She's definitely one to keep an eye on, because that last phase, as well as her bend, tells you that she has a very measured run, in terms of not necessarily too, fast, on the beginning part of the race, or necessarily too strong on the end. Just perfectly balanced, in my opinion, and it will get you there. It will definitely get you medal. So let's see what happens when she heads to Paris. Dina Asher Smith. Oh my gosh, can I tell you, I was shocked. Back to the discussion I was having. The discussion I was having with the person was saying Dina was going to win, but they didn't tell me why. But when I saw that start, I was like, okay, is this Dina winning this race? You know what I mean? But she ended up coming third. She had an absolutely blast around that bend, blazing. She let everybody off the curve. I was like, oh my gosh, are we seeing, the former Dina Asher Smith return? Is that literally what we see in a Dina that has a personal best in the 200 meters of 21.88? Is that what we're seeing, returning here? I was definitely impressed by her bend. Her, last 50, not so much. She definitely faded quite a bit in the race, but maybe there's still time to get that part started up. But the bend, I wouldn't necessarily say change anything. I don't want to say, her bend was too fast, right? I just think that, that's typical of Dina when she's running her best race ever, right? So that best race ever should bring her back down into 21.8s, or even better, potentially, with that super fast bend, right? So I wouldn't necessarily say change anything, just work on that last phase if there's anything that you can change in these coming days, because the Olympic Games is literally a week away now, practically, right? So if there's anything that can happen in the coming week for Dina to work on that last phase, then certainly do so for this particular race. But as I said, this kind of sets things up nicely for us to see who are the best in this event. I think with Gabby, Julian Alfred, Dina Asher Smith, and of course we throw in a Sharika Jackson. You're all gonna say, oh, no, Sharika, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. Sharika Jackson is in the conversation as well. I think this sets us up nicely for medals heading into Paris. These are the best of the lot I see. And also, again, as I said, you threw in a Sharika Jackson, and we're looking good from a Jamaican perspective. Love to see Alani also get down into the sub 21, sub 22s, that is. So let's see what happens there for her. But great running in this women's 200 meters. For the men's 100 meters trackies, I told you so. I told you so. I told you that Noah Lyles would be going to London to try to get the mental edge, uh, you know, above his competitors with a super fast run. Why? Because London is known for being one of the fastest tracks in the world, if not tied with Eugene, as far as I'm concerned, based on performances that we've seen there over the years. Plus the gazillions of personal bests and meeting records and everything else that was set there, at this particular London Diamond League. It tells you why people like to go there and run, because you can get a super fast or just wonderful performances there, full stop, end of story. And Noah Lyles did the thing here. He ran a new personal best, 9.81 seconds to take the win. In second place was Akani Simbine. He ran a 9.86. That's a season's best for him. His personal best is a 9.84. Let's see that Tobago equals his personal best and national record, running a 9.88. And Akeem Blake was fifth. He ran a 9.97, tied with Louis Hinchcliffe, separated by the thousandths of a second. Zornell Hughes, a season's best for him, 10 seconds. That's a positive. Last time we saw him, he was pulling up injured, so that's a positive for him. And Johan Blake was eighth with a 10.23. My thoughts as it relates to No Lies, same run I've been seeing from No Lies all season. I don't think anything has really changed. I wouldn't say it's the worst start. It's the better of the starts that he gets. Let's just put it that way. For Noah Lyles, right? And he was able to pour his way through, because Let's Say Little Bogo got a really good start, and that's something that will be key as well in that 200-meter finals between himself and Let's Say Little Bogo, because if Let's Say can come off the bend leading, and we all know that Let's Say has that superior 400-meter, 300-meter, strength than a Noah Lyles, it'll be interesting to see if he can, take down a Noah Lyles. But separate apart from that, or that aside, He got a great start. That's a Let's See Little Bogo, but no one else was pretty much able to, get back at him, at about 60 and then go away for the win. In this particular race, as I said, to a new personal best. Akane Simbini comes to the conversation or to the fore. I always thought he's been running well all season. I've been saying he's been having one of the best seasons he's had in recent years. It's definitely showing here. I had him as the number one, South African, even though we had a, South Africa not so long ago run a 9.86 as well, shocking many, even though, many attribute that to the altitude, but still 9.86 nonetheless. I still said, look here, Akane Simbine is still the man for South Africa right now. And he comes out and he does, a great one here, especially after the start he had. He even had a worse start than Anoa Laz, which was interesting to me, right? I definitely want him to brush up on that start. That start, is not starting as far as I'm concerned. I don't recall Akane Simbine having such a bad start. Actually, I would say in previous years, I remember him having a better start and, fading kind of towards the end. Maybe I'm not remembering right, but I'd have to go back and watch old footages or old footage of him, right? But with that said, that's how it happened for them. Akeem Blake, I thought he gave me a solid run. I thought he gave me a solid run. I'm not going to ask for more. Trackies, these are athletes that are going to be making it into the finals, in my opinion. Noah Laz will be in the finals. Akane Simbine, let's see the Tobogo, will be in the finals, right? So these are the athletes, that potentially are going to be part of the medal conversation. So I don't think it's necessarily bad for Akeem to place fifth in this race running a 9.79. Things like he could work on maybe dipping, but I definitely thought he had a evenly distributed race here. Let's see what will happen again for Paris. You know how Jamaicans are, yet they tend to, try to, reload and then, taper off again. So let's see what happens when the full taper happens, how much faster he will be able to get. For this season, we know he's gone so far 9.92 this season. So I'm looking out for better from him. You don't know how he goes with Johan Blake. I'm enjoying the rest of his career. Yes, it's not the best performances, not what we want to see from a Johan Blake. Definitely not how we would have envisioned, given the fact that he's the fastest man, second fastest man, sorry, ever over the 100 meters. Him ending his career like this, but it is what it is. I definitely appreciate what he does for the sport and is doing for the sport. And I said he has transcended the sport of track and field, actually, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm just loving these last few days of him. We saw Christian, Taylor retire last evening. It was definitely an emotional moment for a lot of Americans, and I enjoyed, that last jump when everybody was around the pit. It's the same thing I want to happen for Johan Blake. I want him to go out in this blaze of glory where everybody, the fans are there, still celebrating him, even though he's not at his best, still there celebrating him and thanking him for how great he was, in the sport and what he did for, the sport of track and field. But that's a track is, let me know the women's 200 meters, the men's one. What did you think? Did you enjoy those races? I certainly did. Like the video, of course, and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye.